After marriage, I saw my father-in-law slapped with my own eyes. Hit my mother-in-law until her eardrum is pierced. I rushed to help her, but was pulled aside by her husband. My mom asked for it. Never mind. She just blew my mind. Until my husband got involved with me. I just found out that my mother-in-law has been living in dire straits. It's a pity I'm not my mother-in-law. The ex-husband broke 3 of his fingers. The first spring festival after marriage. My husband and I went back to our hometown for Chinese New Year. It was very harmonious. I didn't expect something to happen on the 3rd day of junior high school. In the 3rd year of junior high school, my father-in-law temporarily invited card friends to dinner. He told my mother-in-law before he went out to play cards. Don't lose face with him. Grandma has been busy all morning. Fried a table of dishes. After my father-in-law came back with 8 card friends at noon. Looking at a table of dishes, my face sank. Wang Yi, I won't tell you anymore. Do you want abalone lobster? What the hell are you doing? In front of everyone. Father-in-law's loud voice is super exaggerated. I just watched my mother-in-law freeze there. Embarrassed face flushed. A typical housewife. Husband and son. Excellent temper. Treat people sincerely. And my father-in-law is a typical feudal patriarch. Everything follows his temper. In fact, this table of chicken, duck and fish. Prawns and crabs are available. Obviously, my father-in-law is deliberately finding fault. The charger in front of his group of friends. I went over to smooth things out. Public. That's how you get everybody seated. Soon. The whole living room smelled of alcohol and smoke mixed with noise. Noisy. I'm a little bored, looking for a reason to go out and get some air. Wait until they finish eating and come back to help my mother-in-law clean up the house. Just then. My father-in-law suddenly stood up. I threw the chopsticks on my mother-in-law. Let you by Wu Liangye. What have you prepared? It doesn't work for me to speak, does it? I was stunned. After all, I got married after knowing my husband on a blind date for half a year. During this period, I only saw the public. After my wife got married, she also went back to live in the city. I know my father-in-law has a good temper. Granny is softer. I didn't expect my father-in-law to be bullying. That table of friends is pulling my father-in-law. Past cheap words. Listen to persuasion. It's actually a phone call to change the trick. Sure enough, my father-in-law jumped. Get out now. Buy Wu Liangye now. Buy 2 bottles for 8 bags. Granny didn't move. Red eyes. It takes a lot of courage. The name you read. The wine you brought back is also good. We don't have to drink that Wu Yang either. Bang. The mother-in-law's words are not finished yet. He was slapped in the face by his father-in-law. This slap is very powerful. The old lady staggered, hit the wall. Fell. Mom, I hurried over to help people. Then I saw that my mother-in-law's left ear was bleeding a little. My husband and I rushed her to the hospital again. When I left, I also took a special look at my father-in-law for the first time. He's just a little weaker. Not a word of concern. If you are not in a hurry to the hospital, I will definitely seek justice for my father-in-law. Diagnosis result. Mother-in-law eardrum slightly perforated. On the way back, my mother-in-law took my hand instead. Keep comforting me. Obviously let you see a joke. Don't take it personally. Your dad doesn't think your wine is bad. He just got mad at me. You can't lose your temper with anyone. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. Got home late. A table is messy and not cleaned up. And from the bedroom came the purr of communal thunder. It's so heartless. But my mother-in-law has to clean up the dishes and chopsticks. I quickly stopped her. You can let my mother take it. Tomorrow morning. My dad gets upset when he sees the mess. My husband's words just add fuel to my fire. I never saw him so ignorant when I was in love. I immediately booked an hour to clean up, then use my mother-in-law to our second bedroom. Let him rest. Me and my husband return to your little home in the city overnight. Temper tells me I have to talk to my husband. Otherwise, I'll be so angry that I can't sleep. When I got home, I confronted my husband. Why did he watch his father bully his mother-in-law so much? At first, my husband didn't make a sound. I asked. Husband just muttered. Who made my mom make my dad lose his cushion? Ignore him just because of this sentence. My husband and I had our first argument after marriage. And I slammed the door, straight back to her parents' house. It was supposed to be New Year's Eve. I don't want to cause trouble for my parents either. You have to have a relationship here. Why do I particularly like my mother-in-law? On the one hand, he was kind to me. Good character. The most important thing is that he can be considered my mother's benefactor. Historical reasons. My mother was an educated youth. When going to the countryside. If it wasn't for the help of a mother-in-law, he probably won't survive. So the first time the parents of both parties met, my mom saw my mother-in-law. The two cried and hugged each other. Benefactor marriage. Dear plus dear. We were so happy. But my parents know me too well. Can't hide anything. I just told them directly. My mom sighs. Even told me more about what happened to my mother-in-law. Original. My mom went to a party during Chinese New Year. From another friend. I learned about my mother-in-law's bullying over the years. Served them as cattle and horses for decades. When I was young, I used to beat and scold me. I almost dropped the cup when I heard it. My mother took my hand and told me to rather, if I had known that your father-in-law was such a person. Your dad and I may not let you marry into their family. But now that you are married, whatever else, you have to be nice to your mother-in-law. My father also looked serious and went home after being wronged. Your parents will always be your support. Children with parents are the happiest. I really comforted them with warmth. Forgiveness is different from his father, although. But sometimes the temper is not sensible. But overall, it's been good to me. Let the old couple rest assured. Only my mother-in-law. I want to be better to him. Let him have a stable old age. Make up your mind. I'm going to pick up my mother-in-law to stay for a while. Easy to heal. I think distance creates beauty. Father-in-law is used to serving. Leave briefly. He can be grateful for the kindness of his mother-in-law. I rarely quarrel with forgiveness. He finally sent me a message after waiting for a few days to coax me. I think I'm almost out of breath. I plan to go back to live. Forgive me for picking me up. And brought me a bunch of flowers. And promised to go to her mother-in-law. No offering sister-in-law. Otherwise, if you haven't gone to work yet, forgive me and pick up your mother-in-law. Get off work that day. I bought a lot of food. I plan to go back and make something nutritious for my mother-in-law. As soon as I opened the door, the smoke and tears in the house wafted out. It made me sneeze. In the living room, my father-in-law is watching TV on the sofa. I can't believe he's here. Forgive playing games in the study. And my mother-in-law has prepared a big table of meals. See me in. Granny came out with a pot of soup. Gauze on the ears. Obviously very tired. Smiling when you see me. Ming Ming is back. I made your favorite braised pork. At that moment, I felt my throat was particularly blocked. Remembering my mother-in-law's experience and current situation. My eyes are red. During dinner, my father-in-law was as picky as a big master. The dishes are weak and the soup is tasteless. I know my mother-in-law because she takes care of my taste. Just do it lightly. I was just about to open my mouth to refute my father-in-law. I felt my mother-in-law squeeze my hand under the table. Look up at him. He shook his head at me. Sadness in my eyes. I spent 2 days in this depressing and dreary atmosphere. The father-in-law hit the mother-in-law again. Because of a business trip. I went home early to pack my bags. When I entered the house, I saw my mother-in-law in the kitchen. Busy. But I didn't see my father-in-law's figure. Vaguely. Heard some noises coming from my bedroom. I rushed into the bedroom. I saw my father-in-law rummaging through my bedroom. Clothes are piled up everywhere. And here comes the lamp. And here's the thing. The locked bedside table was also forcibly pulled open. Dad, why did you come into my room? My anger is full. I'd love to rush over and give him a big pocket. The mother-in-law hurried over when she heard the sound. I'm not dumbfounded when I see the scene in front of me. Comfort me quickly. He'll clean up your room for me right away. This is my son's house. My son's room. I can enter if I want. Do whatever you want. My father-in-law's unreasonable strength came up again. You are breaking the law. You didn't ask my permission. I was interrupted by the public before I could finish speaking. What are you? I'll tell you what. Don't think you have a few stinky money at home. You can call the shots. This one belongs to Lao Yuan's family. My son owns everything in this house. And there was some profanity in there. Very good, I have to cure your stinky problem today. The mother-in-law picked up clothes and items on the ground, while carefully persuading my father-in-law to stop talking. The father-in-law rushed over with a lunge and kicked the mother-in-law. The old lady has worked hard for this family all these years. The bones are weak. He was kicked to the ground by his father-in-law. He banged his head on the door. Forget about others. I quickly helped my mother-in-law up. Take her to the hospital for a checkup. Fortunately, it's okay. But the skin is scratched on the head. The doctor wrapped it in gauze. I want to see how my father-in-law explains to Yuan Liang. Come home. I saw Yuan Liang and his father-in-law sitting on the sofa watching TV.